Have you ever dreamt of a better version of yourself?
Well, first of all, welcome in to Cinema Splendor. Hi, I'm Brian, and
Bad.
we're going to have a conversation about a new horror film that's been making a lot of noise in theaters. The last 20 minutes of this movie is crazy. What do you think about The Substance?
I love The Substance, and down the line it could end up making my top 10. I feel like I need to sit with it a little more first. I absolutely love this movie. I think it's a 10 out of 10. Like, the concept carries the whole movie because you're constantly wondering what's going to go wrong next and what's going to happen next. To me, the scariest part of the movie wasn't even the monsters or anything like that, but just the internal struggle of the main character.
I think this is probably the best body horror movie since The Fly, and that was like 40 years ago. And later, we're probably going to talk about this again when we do our top 10s of the year, I feel like. I probably will be.
Oh, yeah.
So it was pretty terrifying to look at both sides of the character. You have the main half of Demi Moore that we're used to. She's kind of dealing with her body falling apart. She clearly cared way too much about looks and beauty, and like she put all of her chips into that at a young age, and she's really paying for it as she's getting older. But she just makes the situation so much worse for herself.
And to me, it's an allegory for so much more than just body image, because it could just be any general addiction. Because it's like she's literally a completely different person. Literally throws a blanket over it and is just completely neglecting it. And then you're just like waiting, like, oh my God, what is that shit about to look like when she finally goes back, you know?
Yeah, she was like super selfish, but I like that the voice kept reminding her, hey, you are the same person. They kept treating one another as different people.
Yes.
But then we get to the end.
What was it? Monstro Eliza Sue, I think it was called.
Shit.
And yeah, that was just epic. Like, I had a big smile on my face the entire last 30 minutes. I was just like relishing in people's reactions.
Holy fish paste, what is that?
Actually, one thing I want to point out is I was sitting like in the corner looking up the whole movie. Like I kind of had to do an angle. That would be kind of annoying for most movies, but this movie had so many gross like close-up things. It made it feel like Dennis Quaid was all up in my business looking right at me, and it was like perfect.
His scenes, especially like him eating the shrimp, was honestly one of the most sickening scenes in the whole movie.
Oh, I mean, I thought it was disgusting when the clone came out of her back, but I mean, yeah, the shrimp was number 2 probably.
A scene that I feel like goes like under the radar is the fight scene between the two forms. Like, that was just a whole extra sequence of the movie that I feel like didn't need to be there, but it was so cool.
No, I think that was the part of the movie where they took this whole concept to another level. They kept saying, you're the same people, no exceptions. So when they broke that rule, it was like, holy mother of God.
Agreed.
That was such a brutal way to, or what's her name? Sparkle, Elizabeth Sparkle.
Sue? Oh no, Sue is the other one. Yeah, Elizabeth Sparkle.
I love that, it's not the first shot, because the first shot's like the mitosis, but yeah, the Hollywood star.
I did love the mitosis too, though. Like, despite how insane the special effects were, every single pixel of every single effect looked extremely realistic.
It was disturbing. I actually had to look away for a lot of like the gross out transformation things, because I was like, that genuinely, that the eyeballs like popping up, I'm like, I don't know why, but it's making me feel gross.
Yeah.
But like her back split open, man. Like, Jesus Christ.
And she didn't sign up for that part. She didn't know about that part.
I didn't know about that part.
And then Sue just has to sew it back together.
The effects in this, and the costumes, and like the makeup, this is like all-timer shit that we're looking at. Like, I hope it wins some Oscars.
That would be awesome.
Like, this movie reminds me of The Fly.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. I didn't even think about that.
I think in The Fly, they start calling it Brundlefly. I think his name is Brundle, and then they mix him with the fly.
Monstro Eliza Sue.
Yeah, okay, so that's an awesome name.
And they're genuinely disgusting, too. You constantly have tension in this movie from these two characters pushing and pulling on one another, being thrown into these situations that are horrifying. And The Substance is a classic. It has a pretty genius screenplay. I think I'm going to be revisiting this and like shielding my eyes once more. Holy crap. 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it's hard to recommend to people because you got to know what they can handle.
9 out of 10. I just bumped it up. Yeah. I can't even handle it, to be honest with you. I was really grossed out by this movie. Horror classic.
Agreed.
Would you ever make a deal like this?
Especially after seeing the movie. Hell no.
Yeah, okay. Maybe looks aren't everything.